guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Now, I know many of you look at my thumbnail and you're like, no duh. Yeah, like tell me something I don't know. Water is wet. The sky is blue, etc. But it come to find out, we've always been told that women cheat because they're not having their emotions met. And their men aren't there emotionally for them. And if men were just more emotional, their women would be much more likely to not cheat and look for another man. Turns out that women will cheat on you for pretty much any reason. And of course, as always, it is men's fault. So I got a quick, it's like a 5-minute article. It's not super long to read. But science is showing modern women cheat more than men. And they cheat for almost any reason. And of course, per usual, it's men's fault. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's be reasonable with it. But with this data, a lot of times when I talk about these talking points, YouTube creators like myself, we get shut down. We get, I don't appear on the suggested page nearly as much. I used to get 30,000 subs a month. Now I'm lucky if I get 1,500 or 2,000, and that's okay. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. I'm really thrilled to have the number of people watch me that I do. But they do try to hide information like this. Why? Because it goes against a message. From news.com.au, new research shows, new research reveals bombshell truth about cheating as tables turn on who's to blame. How the turntables. Science shows that women struggle more than men when it comes to staying faithful in relationships. But is breaking up really the answer? I'll just put a pause on that and say, yep. Never go away. Be quiet. Never, ever, ever stay with a cheating partner. Because here's the thing. As a man, you need to appear as strong, and you need to be dedicated, and you have to have conviction, and you have to have motivation, and you have to have money, and you have to be tall, and you have to be the provider, and for women, they pretty much just have to be available. Guys can walk down the street and go, yeah, she's hot, I'd bone her, right? But turns out women are actually kind of turning into this as well. But traditionally, women have wanted a good quality man. You're not a good quality man if you will stay with a cheater. Now, that's my opinion. Some of you may say differently, but I still am of the mindset of once a cheater, always a cheater. And if you give them a pass and you stick around, they will think with the tears and the crying and the having fits that they can convince you into sticking around a second time if they get caught, or they just hide it better. And this is for men or women. I've tried it. It was many years ago. It doesn't work. It never does. Cheater's gonna cheat. She was made for the streets. Even when your marriage is good, you still miss that rush of feeling so excited you can't sleep or eat when you're having such an intense time emotionally and sexually with a new person. That's what I kept going after, and what I couldn't say no to. That's how Annika, 45, from Melbourne, describes her experiences with cheating, and she's far from alone. According to a growing body of research, many women in long-term relationships are sexually adventurous and have secret lovers, Body and Soul reports. Now, we know this because it's the tingles, right? I've talked about this probably in 100 videos by now. They need the tingles. They need the butterflies. They get bored of the same old, same old. We live in the fast food generation. I want to pull up to the drive-thru, order my food, get it, pay for it, and be driving home, sucking on a milkshake, eating a burger and fries in 5 minutes or less. And if you have to wait at that drive-thru for 3 minutes, it's unacceptable. Well, it's the same thing with the relationships. All relationship, the tingles, the butterflies, the creativity goes away. I mean, you can try every position and anything under the sun, but it's all going to be kind of the same after a while, and you can spice it up a little bit. But that's not enough for modern women. Now, many women can say, well, it's the same thing with men. Men will sleep with anything. Yeah, that's true, but most of the time it's the guys doing most of the work in the bedroom. So it's really guys chasing after the thought of strange and new. They do it too, but women do it more. And the difference is men in long-term relationships, if they're satisfied in the bedroom, usually their eyes will not wander if their girlfriend or wife stays in relatively good shape. She doesn't get super heavy or out of shape, or if a guy's into a big girl, she doesn't get super skinny or something. Like, men date and marry the women that they want to be with. Women date and marry men and then try to change them into what they want them to be, if that makes any sense. They say, anthropology, did I accidentally jump over something? Yes, I did. The view is that mostly men who cheat because their partners lose interest in sex is outdated. Science says that it's actually women who struggle most with monogamy because they get bored in the bedroom. Women crave variety, and while some stifle their desires, others will be unfaithful. Anthropologist and author of Untrue, Wednesday Martin, oh, that's a name, Wednesday Martin, refers to this new research as the Great Correction. Martin interviewed dozens of sociologists, researchers, and anthropologists for her book on female infidelity and says the sad, sorry picture painted of the female libido is grossly wrong. It's alive and kicking and eager to be satisfied. The new research is correcting false notions that women have lesser libidos, that women are more monogamous, and that it's easier for women to partner for life, explains Martin. Women do not like sex less than men, but they do get bored of the sameness. While males may have higher levels of spontaneous desire, women take the lead for responsive or triggered desire. Spontaneous desire is when you suddenly think it would be nice to have sex. It comes over you like a hunger or thirst, says Martin. Responsive or triggered desire occurs when something suggests the idea of sex to you. You're watching or reading something, a partner initiates an encounter, and you get turned on. For that type of desire, women's libidos are every bit as strong as men's. We've internalized the idea that men are the randier sex, and that's untrue. Now, there's always the running trope. You get married, you know, like your wife's all, or your girlfriend's all into sleeping with you and having fun, and you get married, and all the extras and everything kind of goes away. The truth of it is that it's not that the guy is performing any different in bed than he was. It's not that he's a different man. He's pretty much this. I'm pretty similar to what I was 5, 8, 10 years ago. I'm a little smarter. I'm a little wiser. I have a little bit more money. But other than that, I've kind of been the same guy for a while. I just learned from my bad mistakes. I think most men do that. But when guys are in a relationship, i.e., I've been married twice, I always found my wife was attractive when she kept herself in shape, and she was kind of the same person I married. It's only when they become different, and I mean drastically different people, that I said, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't, like, you're not the same person I wanted to be with. With women, what the notion is and what they're saying here is men can pretty much stay the same and do the same thing that they've always done, and women will get bored with it. And so what that inevitably leads to for men is they need to constantly escalate. If a guy takes a woman out for, I don't know, her favorite restaurant in the world is the Melting Pot or something like that, like cheese fondue or something, and it's very expensive. If that's her favorite place to go, you take her there on your 5-year anniversary or something, and that's it. But what if you take her to that same restaurant every week, every couple of weeks? It's no longer new. It's no longer, it may be her favorite food. She may love it, but it's no longer new. It's no longer interesting, and she gets bored of it. Well, can you then go from the Melting Pot over to a, I don't know, McDonald's or something or other and get her meals? No, because you're stepping down. So the problem is, for men, at least in many relationships today, you need to start at McDonald's, and then you need to work your way up to the Melting Pot. But what happens when you get to her favorite restaurant or her favorite flowers or her favorite everything? You're constantly showering her with attention and gifts, and you're giving her everything, and it still doesn't work. Why? Because there's no more tingles left. There's no more excitement left. There's no more new left. And when that happens, you're done. Now, for some women, like my mother, that 65, 63, whatever it was years, until my father passed away, she was happy. You know, she was still interested in him. They would laugh, they would hug, they'd have tender moments, and the rest of it I don't want to know about because it's my parents. But now today, women craves such attention from social media and from validation, and everything has to be new and exciting. And they get into the spot where they're really bored. Now, and here's the other problem. So they're saying they're bored in the bedroom physically, but they're also bored when it comes to attention. So they talk about spontaneity here. But here's the funny thing. Martin says that myth that women cheat for emotional reasons while men cheat for sexual reasons is also being overturned. She cites research by Missouri State University and a group of women who use the Ashley Madison website specifically to cheat. This research explodes several of our most dearly held notions about infidelity, that women cheat only when they are unhappy in their marriages, that unlike men, they seek emotional connection, not sexual gratification, and that women just stumble into affairs. The women studied went on the site, created a profile, vetted candidates, met them in person, and auditioned them. This was a very intentional process. They wanted to find partners for sex. They reported being in sexless or unhappy marriages, and they simply wanted what they couldn't get at home. But most were otherwise happy, partnered, or married, and these affairs were a way for them to remain in their primary relationships. So there goes the myth that women who cheat are unhappily married. Now, a lot of times, some of you mentioned about my reading of articles. I don't read these ahead of time. So yes, I am going to stumble through them a little bit because I kind of like to be spontaneous with my responses to this. So again, these women are saying, I'm happy at home. He's a good man. He's a good husband. I'm just not getting the tingles. It's not new. It's not spontaneous. I want more. And they're going out and finding it. So as a man, what are you to do? Like, I get that women might be able to say the same thing, but look, I've heard plenty of women that say, I just take care of my guy as often as he wants, and sometimes throw in a little extra. And look, if he gets it for the night, and then he goes out with his friends out to the bar or pub hopping and everything, he just got it an hour or two ago. He's not in that, like, I really got to get some stage. But for men, that's not really how it's turning out. Women will cheat for emotional reasons. They'll cheat for physical reasons. They want to cheat because it's new and exciting. They feel that it's mysterious. Like, it's turning out that women will cheat just for anything. They say now researchers are entertaining the possibility that women simply need variety and novelty of a sexual experience more than men do. It's a notion women like Gabriella, 28, from Sydney, has been aware of for some time. I've had lots of affairs since my first long-term relationship when I was at university. So she's 28, and she was in uni at what, 18? And already she's had lots of affairs since her very first long-term relationship. So if you're a college guy and you're thinking, hey, she's, in college or fresh out of college, she hasn't fallen into this trap of being all high body count and everything else. Nope, not so much. And it doesn't mean that she's going to be any more reliable. She says, I love sex and get bored easily, but men take an affair as an affront to their masculinity. They all think that they should be enough for me, and when I try to discuss ways of keeping the interest alive, they treat me as if I'm not normal. What should normal be? A woman who lies back and puts up with boring sex just for the sake of it? That's the story women have been sold, and it's just wrong. Now, look, I don't think too many college guys are not going to be willing, because I remember being that age. And, those are the days when you're into it 2-3 times a day as a guy. When you hit a little bit more ripe age, 2-3 times a week is probably a little bit more your speed. But you can see, again, she started at university, and she's like, I get bored easily. And then when I cheat, the guys take it as an affront on their masculinity. Well, of course you would. If a man cheats on his wife, she'd probably think, am I not pretty enough? Am I not attractive enough? Do I not give you enough attention? So, of course, a guy's going to take a hit. And I don't feel really, to me, it sounds like a cope when she's like, I tell these guys I want some variety and some spice to keep it interesting. And they're like, no, they treat me like I'm weird. Women are very good at taking one guy that maybe said that and then treating all men like they do it. I don't have too many doubts, or I should say, I have no problem believing that a college guy and a girl's like, I want to get freaky and do a bunch of weird stuff. Most college guys I've ever known, up to and including myself, would be like, yeah, all right. I don't care. That's great for me. Further exploding the myth that women are made for monogamy is the work of biopsychologist Meredith Chivers at Queen's University, Canada. Chivers and her team invited men and women to watch spicy movies while they had monitors on their bodies to measure their physical responses and blood flow, which showed their arousal. Straight men were mostly turned on by images of men and women. I got to watch some of these words. It's YouTube. Men and women, men sleeping with women. But heterosexual women had a more varied arousal menu. Women's bodies responded to men being with men, women being with women, men and women being with each other, and images of men's body parts that are all excited. We traditionally think men get turned on by everything, and the truth is that a woman's body responds to more stimuli, says Martin. They say, so looking after lust and libido. So does the unleashed female libido always lead to infidelity? It doesn't have to, says Martin. Well, of course it doesn't have to. And what keeps you from cheating? Caring for your partner, respecting your partner, loving your partner, wanting to be there for your partner, an emotional connection to your partner. But that still isn't stopping women from doing it. It's just more likely to mean that it wouldn't happen because she respects you and wouldn't want to do that. Do women really respect men right now? Do women look up to men? Do women appreciate men? No, of course not. And this is by design. If you look at social media, if you look at TV, commercials, the movies, everything, it's men bad, women amazing. So without that respect, they're kind of using men like disposable assets now. Use him for his money, for his lifestyle, for the bedroom fun, and then when you get bored of any part of it, throw him away. And I had an image. I talked about it yesterday over on Locals. I had an image when it was a photo of a girl, and she said, "Oh, when a guy can't find a parking spot, ick." It's like, really, we're to the point now where if a guy can't find a parking spot, he's unattractive. That's uncontrollable. That's completely out of his range. They say women start providing service. They call it service sex. He wants it. I really don't, but I will get it over with. The women get into a cycle of thinking, I guess I don't really like it. It's actually that they're not liking sleeping with the same partner they've been with for many years, she explains. Well, of course. Now, that they also say up here, I missed this part. Does unleashed female libido lead to infidelity? It doesn't have to. Not if women can talk frankly to their partner about their desire for variety and adventure. She says this can avoid the inevitable boredom. Yeah, so if a woman comes out and says, hey, I want to try something, like I think this would be fun. Again, I think most men that care for the woman say, hey, I want you to be happy in the bedroom. I'm willing to provide that for you. And yeah, it sounds like fun. But what happens when it's not enough? And that's what's happening. Or what happens when he does anything like, oh, he chewed too loudly, so I'm going to leave him for another dude, because women don't have that emotional connection anymore. They say a simple thing couples can do is start a new exciting activity together, such as learning how to kayak or dance together. Couples get a rush of neurochemicals and hormones similar to when we experience puppy love, so you can get that feeling of excitement without going outside of your relationship. Hey, you know what? Motorcycle riding, kayaking, whitewater river rafting, going on adventures. That keeps the excitement up. But here's the thing, guys. Understand? Do you see all the hoops and the energy and the money and the trips and the that you have to start doing to just stay in a healthy relationship and keep her? This is work. I don't know about you, but this sounds like work and money. And maybe many of you say, I got a simple girl, it's not too bad. We do good, and it's good. Great. But a lot of modern young women are not like that today. We know this. They say, imagine how much better a relationship would be if couples understood that when a woman starts to feel sexually bored, this didn't have to mean the end. Think of the marriages and relationships that could have improved if women could discuss their desire for adventure and work on their partner to find solutions that bring them closer together. Imagine if a woman could speak to a man. That's what that sounds like. Just think of the ways we could improve if women could speak to men. And in the meantime, did the women, again, I don't know, but did the women go forward to their husbands and say, hey, you know what, we need to spice things up a little bit? Or it's really important to me that you hit the gym and gain a little muscle, get rid of some of the daddy fat or whatever, and because I'm finding myself less attracted to you. I think most men that really cared about their women would be like, yeah, okay. But I'm really doubting that women are having these conversations. I'm thinking they're bored. They feel that there's no excitement left, and feathers and handcuffs aren't going to be enough for it, and so they step outside of the relationship. And that's the first thing that they do. Again, because they don't respect the giving and the caring in a normal relationship. They say 54% of Aussie women believe cheating shouldn't always signal the end of a relationship. And this is a Relationship Australia study. So more than half of women are like, if I cheat, or if he cheats, I bet they probably be more likely to say it's the end of the relationship. But I bet you if you ask them, do you think if you cheated, that should end the relationship? 54% of women are like, no. Like, I want my cake and eat it too. They say 2 in 3 Australians feel that try that again. 2 in 3 Australians feel that the person affected most by infidelity is the partner of the unfaithful person. And I agree with that. But that also means that 1 in 3 Australians feel the person doing the cheating is the one that's most affected by it. That kind of blows me away a little bit. Wonder if they have any interesting comments. Do they have comments? See if they load it. Yeah, more boning response. We won't go through that. But you guys get the idea here. So women are more likely to cheat. Now they outstep men. They'll step out because he didn't provide enough emotional support. He didn't financially support. He wasn't masculine enough. He wasn't there for me emotionally. We hear that one all the time. He didn't keep things interesting in the bedroom. Again, they kind of point it all on men. And then when she does cheat, she says, he wasn't open-minded enough that I felt I could talk to. There's never any accountability. There's no surprise there, though. That's how it goes. Guys, if you're on YouTube, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com. We got free speech forums. We post all sorts of topics. We talk about things you can't talk about just about anywhere on the internet, which is a good time. You can become a member today for $5 a month. And if you want to support me down below, you can hit the join button. That's a great way to support me. If you don't want to go to locals, just a couple nickels in the jar every month for the Joker.